I'm going to read you out of 1 Corinthians. I guess Judah hit on this on Easter Sunday, and I can't do it like he did, but I think it bears 2 weeks of reading. Did you know you could do that? Read the same passage 2 weeks in a row? 1 Corinthians 13, and here's the setup. Most of you already know that Paul was passionate about making sure that Christians knew it's not enough just to say that you have kind of felt this love. You should be wearing it better than you're wearing it. Because the church this letter was written to, these people were not living or loving right. So Paul felt the need to write this beautifully eloquent, I guess, description of what real agape love is all about. There's earthly love, and then there's the Jesus agape love. Reckless, ridiculous, illogical, unearned, not because of you, it's because of him kind of love. Not ordinary. Here's how it goes. You ready for this? Keep in mind, these people had no idea how to love. And Paul was saying, that's not good enough. It's not good enough for you to just say, this Jesus raised from the dead, and you believe in him if people cannot see it in your life. And he said this, if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but I don't have love, I'm a resounding gong or I'm a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but I don't have love, I am nothing. If I give everything I own to the poor and give my body to hardship that I may boast, but I don't have love, I gain nothing. The fact that he's writing this means people had faith like this, and he wanted them to know it's not enough if it's not rooted in love. He goes on to say, love is patient, love is kind. This is all the opposite of New York City. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. This is not ordinary. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it always perseveres. And then this banger, love never fails. This is unfathomable. And what Paul was trying to get them to understand is that y'all are doing all the stuff without any of the love. And the only way you can have that love is continually walking with Jesus. You have gone away from the source of it all. I don't care about all the stuff you're doing if there is no love. It sounds like modern day church to me, where people are trying to carry the cross without the love that it is covered in. Christians trying to live without love, it's like Krispy Kreme donuts that have no sugar. An absolute abomination. But Paul is going to great lengths to let people know it doesn't matter if you're preaching what's right, but it's not in a spirit of love. It doesn't matter if you're trying to go worship, if it's not out of a spirit of love. It doesn't matter if you have the right theological stance, if you're not stancing on it from a place of love. He's saying, don't do all this and miss the whole point. This was free love given to you, so people should be able to see it coming out of you. That's why we have to get people to the cross, so they can feel this for themselves. You take the love out of City Church, Hillsong New York City Church, we've got a regular building. You take the love out of our worship, we have normal music. You take the love out of this gospel, we have an empty book of words. It is the love that sets us apart. What about your life? Because I would say this, it's a bold statement, but I believe your experience should dictate your expression. Think about that, your experience. Who in here has said, I've experienced the love of God? If you have, it was agape love. You didn't deserve it, but you got it. It made no sense, but you got it. It's illogical, but you got it anyway. I wonder if your experience is dictating your expression. Because I've been to churches where there's no expression of this ridiculous love. That's why I'm desperate to have people experience Jesus for themselves. Whoever, this agape love does three major things. And if you're a Christian, let it be a reminder, because the experience should be changing your expression. And if you're not a Christian, hear me loud and clear. This is available to you. So think it over. Next 15, 20 minutes, if you've been searching for love and you're like, wow, I actually haven't found it. If I'm right, you can find it in the cross. Number one, ready? 3 things it does. I've actually got 33. Chelsea, this is the Baptist service, right? We can just keep preaching, keep on going. People will come and go with their lunch. The agape love of our God, ready? Frees us from our past because the score has been settled. I know why there wasn't a big reaction, because not everybody in here has a past. But if you have ever had anything go wrong, If you've ever had sin in your life, it is good news to be reminded again that the agape love of our God frees us from our past, our sin and our shame and what we are owed, because the score has been settled. Love how the Bible puts it. Love, agape love, keeps no record of wrongs. This is the opposite of New York City or regular love, because our world, love is like, I love you until you do something wrong. And now I'm going to love you back, but there's going to be conditions, and I'm never going to let you forget about it. I'm always going to wonder if you're going to do it again. I say I forgive you, but I have a record of stuff you've done, so I'm still at a distance. The reckless agape love of our God is, I don't even remember your sin. I forgive you, and I love you, and I set you free. That's why the gospel only works for bad people. So if you have drama in your life, and you have scars in your life, and you have racked up sin debt in your life, it better just get you cheering from the literally your inner person to say, oh my gosh, God's love has freed me from my past. That's why I love it when I look out in church and I see people that are openly broken. And if you ever wonder like how passionate God is about Seattle and the streets we have yet to reach and the people that are still not coming in, all you have to do to find the heart of our God is look no further than John 20 and see the first conversation that Jesus had with somebody upon his resurrection. You know who it was with? It wasn't with the president, it wasn't with a diplomat, it wasn't with a scientist, it was with a know-nothing woman that had a bad reputation, whom he stopped with, talked to her, and called her by name. He had just rose from the dead, he could have done anything, and he went and talked to Mary. This is insane, because if I was Jesus, thank God I'm not. I'll tell you what I would have done if I was murdered without cause and rose from the dead like I said I was going to rise from the dead. I would have gone to every critic. I would have went back to the temple, and I would have been like, you doubted me, and you doubted me. Look at me now. Come back to her. Selfie with you in it. I would have went to every person. You nailed me to the cross. Here I am again. That should freak you out. You threw a stone at me. You were making fun of me. You turned your back on my... That's what I would have done. But the reckless love of our God is not interested in showing people how bad they are. It's not interested in proving a point that doesn't matter. Our God had the wherewithal to sit there and talk to this woman and let her know, hey, you got to move from where you are because I'm back. Who you've been looking for, I'm right here. I would ask you, if you're a Christian, if our God does not keep your record of wrongs, why do you? So I've been around enough Christians to know, yep, I've been forgiven. But this forgiveness is reckless in that it frees you. It's one thing to be forgiven. It's another thing to be free. If our God was not about forgiveness and freedom, he would have rolled that stone away and he would have saw Mary, who would be like, hey, you go in that tomb for a while. Get your life together because you are reckless. You're a woman of the night. Get up in there, fix yourself up, and then come back out later. As funny as that sounds, you know how many Christians will get saved, get forgiven, and stay in their tomb for a while? I'm forgiven, but I can't walk forward. Why? This is agape love that sets you free. That's why I love being a part of churches that are looking for lost. Not just hoping we come across them, but when we find people that really need it, we got the best news in the world. God's love can set you free. I remember going to church not too long ago, and if you need the anointing, you pray, and then you go to 7-Eleven and you get coffee and donuts. Combination makes you feel anointed. Apparently that's not funny here, whatever it is, and frees you from your past. And number two, anybody want number two? Agape love, Christian, it gives you peace in the present, so you do not have to worry while you wait. Peace in the present. Throwaway little moment here, 1 Corinthians, I think it's verse 7, it says, love always protects. As a Christian, I have learned, especially dealing with people, and Chelsea, I'm sure you've seen this in church, like if the devil cannot stop you from serving Jesus, he will try to make you miserable while you do it. So there's a lot of people who are saved, set free, but where they are today, it's not ideal. All the ducks are not in a row. You're still waiting for certain things. So a lot of Christians sit in an anxious position, not secure in the love of God. Like it used to protect me, but now I'm in a new season and I don't know if it's going to come through. Have you ever met somebody who's insecure in a relationship because they don't know if the love is unconditional? Our God, arms wide open, at all times. So you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to worry about. If you're like, oh man, God, I hope there's a breakthrough coming, but I've had a really bad week. Got some good and bad news. The bad news is we're just bad people. The good news is Jesus died for bad people like us, so we wouldn't have to keep working our way up to God. God worked his way down to us in the love that is Jesus. Now we get to sit in his grace every day of our lives. How would we live if we knew that this agape love said it always protects? If you're in here and people have let you down, and this one's a hard one for you to fathom, let the grace of God put your soul at ease. Jesus Christ has never failed anybody, and he is not going to start with you. Number one, it frees us from our past. Number two, it gives us peace in our present. And number three, as we close, it gives us hope for our future, because our future looks like Jesus. The agape love of God. Come on up here, team. This is fake close number one. The agape love of God, it gives us hope for our future, because our future looks like Jesus. Where do you get this hope from? Is this Hillsong, charismatic, happy, clappy, Tony Robbins, motivational speaking, preaching stuff? No. It's 1 Corinthians, that little part at the end where it says love never fails. As a Christian who has accepted the agape love of God, what you're saying is my hopes and my dreams and my passion and my fear and my stuff, everything is anchored in Jesus. So that means I know where I'm headed. Have you ever met someone who's so worried about the clear reminder that Jesus said in this world you're going to have stuff go wrong, but the agape love of our God has overcome it all.